Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Tuesday, August 11th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Well, over there in Asia, I don't know, Mr. Shanghai didn't go so high, kind of flat. And round Europe, boop, market's down. And gold prices are up. And oil, hey, remember yesterday oil? Now look at today oil. Down much more than it was up yesterday. The slump continues, hitting new lows, 6-year lows. So, what's going on? Well, overnight, China devalues yuan by 2%. The People's Bank of China, now this is from Global Times, the Chinese news agency, surprisingly devalued the Chinese yuan by nearly 2%. And from CNBC, Dow plunges triple digits on surprise yuan devaluation. They go on to say, the yuan's sudden devaluation may have something to do with the poor trade data released over the weekend. And so what they're doing is they're devaluing the yuan so that they'll sell more exports. And it may work a little bit, but not a lot, because this is an entire deflationary period, and it'll push deflation down even more because demand isn't there. So if you don't have money to buy the stuff, you're not going to buy it. So, experts generally believe the move is mainly aimed at boosting the country's exports and the economy as a whole. What else has happened? Now, with China devaluing its currency, all of those other emerging markets and all those currencies that were under pressure, they're going down as well. So they're already in a currency crisis. Again, go back to last week's trend alert. Currencies plunging, commodities crashing, markets next. And let's go back to the headline. The People's Bank of China surprisingly devalued the yuan. And Dow plunges triple digits on surprise yuan devaluation. Well, it was no surprise to you. Nearly 2 weeks ago, we saw it coming and said it was going to happen because the Chinese, like everyone else, in the business of banking, manipulation, creating Ponzi schemes and inflating bubbles, continues to lie. But when you look beyond their sweet talk, you can see what's really going on. China says no to another massive stimulus plan to boost the economy. This is, of course, after they boosted it following the panic of '08 to the tune of $586 billion. And of course, this is a report that came out in 2012. So you can see how they keep lying. But again, you knew it was going to happen. It's history before it happens. Here, listen. China pledges trade support amid slowdown. Here's the story right here. You know what that is?
That was bullshit.
Or OP. Yeah. The top government body, the State Council, issued a list of measures Friday to boost exports and imports, including restating the long-held policy of widening the currency's trading band as part of a broader effort to stabilize the economy and arrest a persistent slowdown. Exports are up only 0.9%, from a year earlier in the first half of 2015, falling short of the double-digit gains of past years. Let's make this simple. They're going to devalue the currency. Capiche? How do you say capiche in Chinese? That's all they're doing. And that's not going to get them out of this. You got a bunch of rookies playing a big game over here. And they don't know how to get out of it. Their real estate bubble is burst. They're just pumping it up with polluted Chinese air. And their equity markets, they can't fix those either. So what else does this mean? Well, what's the Fed going to do? Because if the Fed raises interest rates, and they're already saying that because the US dollar is gaining strength, US exports are going down, so what will they do? Because we have the currency wars going on. Remember, as the dollar gets stronger and all these currencies get weaker, that's right, they have to pay back more money. And you're seeing it happening already. The other issue is, what about all those companies that sell things in China? Now they're going to cost the Chinese more. Hey, those luxury goods don't look so luxurious anymore, and they're already in a downturn. So what do we see happening? It's what I said yesterday, last week, and the week before. There's panic on the streets. I've never seen a summer like this so volatile, and it's only continuing. So the devaluation, they're also saying, is a one-off. And again, I just read you the lines, how they said they were never going to do it again, and they're doing it. So now you're going to also start hearing from American politicians going after the Chinese for devaluing their currency because it's hurting our exports. So there you got it. Also in some other news, Buffett's elephant deal for Precision marks $37 billion bet on U.S. manufacturing. Now, I would be the last guy to go against Buffett, but when you read about this company, Precision manufactures metal components for industrial gas turbines. Okay. The oil sector's not doing so good. And supplies sectors, including aerospace and the oil and gas industry. So, Mr. Buffett is confident in the recovery of U.S. demand as the economy strengthens. The acquisition emphasizes Warren Buffett's position that long-term outlook for growth of the U.S. economy will continue, said Jay Gelb, an analyst at Barclays. So we're looking at very different information. Because you look at some other things going on in that merger and acquisition activity, when you see this, they're saying now it's going to surpass the all-time record in 2007. Isn't that a coincidence? 2007, the year before the Panic of '08. The same kind of cheap money that fueled that bubble is fueling this one. The bubble is at hand. Shrinking Russian economy prompts oil price alert. Russia's economy contracted by 4.6% in the second quarter compared to the same period in 2014, the largest drop in 6 years, marking the country's first recession since the financial crisis. Tepid recovery threatens to widen Italy's north-south divide. Another little story over here. A turnaround fails to reach many in Spain. Moscow attacks ruble worries. Russian authorities sought to dismiss concerns about the battered ruble as they claimed on Monday that they have control over the currency market. And you know what that is.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert.
Because bullshit is what they say all the time, every country, in all languages. Because here's today's Wall Street Journal. The headline, Money and Investing. Dow Industrials end long losing streak. You remember, up until yesterday, the Dow had a 7-day losing streak. Blue Chip Index posts first rise since July 29 and jumps 241.79 points, above Friday's 6-month low. Well, today they gave it back. Investors, gamblers, snapped up beaten down industrial and energy shares following the year's biggest merger announcement, carrying the Dow Industrials to their largest gain in 3 months. There you got it. Ponzi, Ponzi, Ponzi in every language that you can imagine. And as America goes down, just to show you what's going on as we go into more war, Amtrak officials say rail delays may become the norm. How's that for America, huh? Yeah, they can't even keep the trains from running on time, huh? Oh, I think that was Mussolini that said that. But why not? Yeah. What a disgrace. As a nation keeps going into war, they can't even get the trains running. More war, lower economy, again, occupy peace. Bring home the troops. Bring back the jobs. Put them to work rather than building highways in Afghanistan and in Iraq and every other country that they destroy and occupy. How about we make the trains run on time, huh? Or at least run it all on our third world rail. A disgrace. And speaking of disgraces, Trump has the solution for the wars. Another boy with a big mouth, a draft dodger. Yes, but he doesn't admit it, as I do, because I couldn't imagine me in Vietnam. Not that I was smart enough to be against the war, I just couldn't imagine going into a foreign country with a lot of weight on my back, walking through rice paddies, seeing these guys with water up to here, holding their guns like this, and getting shot at. But little lowlifes like Trump, I would have gone, but my father knew somebody, and I had a spur on my ankle, but I forget which foot. He got a solution. And of course, he's going to send his sons to lead the charge. Yeah, trump it out, man. Conquer ISIS with ground troops. Just take the oil. How's that for a brilliant man, huh? Just take the oil, send the ground troops. Send your son or shut your mouth. And you're a tough guy, you lead the charge. A lowlife, just like the rest of them. I support pro-life, he says, except when it comes to killing other people. Another hypocrite, because the Saudis murdered more in Yemen. Yay, and America's behind it. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote for your murdering psychopath who play the better game of liar. It's about women. That's what this is coming out to, a gender election. I say let's make it a transgender election. I want to see a mermaid in office, I tell you. Yep. More murder, no coverage. Because Turkey rocked by a wave of attacks. The United States is in the thick of this. The Erdogan government, rather than losing an election at the ballot box, has now gone into the battlefield, attacking the Kurds again, the United States having its bases there, in a war against Syria. The whole thing is coming together, and they attacked what? The U.S. consulate yesterday. What a surprise, huh? Can't understand it. please go out to our site, Occupy Peace, because if we don't occupy peace, we will definitely occupy more war, more hatred, more decline, more misery, more poverty. Look what's happening over there in Ferguson. People are out in the streets. Other people are coming in to protect them. The thing is turning ugly. It's that mentality, the war mentality. So we need peace at home and abroad. Please help us occupy peace. OccupyPeace.us. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.